Boom. Surprise. We're going early. And you know why? So that I can plug the sponsor of this channel right out of the gate, Yo Kratom. I'm going to give you guys a little Yo Kratom plug while everybody gets up and gets on, because Yo Kratom is the greatest kratom provider in the United States, or in the world for that matter. It comes in 2 days. You get it super quick, $60 kilograms. I use it. I just got a shipment 2 days ago, and now I have so much kratom that it's actually kind of ludicrous. Like, if the apocalypse happened, I'd be set for a very long time. They got all the strains. I personally run green Mangda during the day, and I run Bali at night, or red Bali. That's what I do. So that's Yo Kratom, YOKRATOM.com. I promise you it's legit. You pay and it gets there in 2 days. All right, let's rock, dude. Let's do this. So, I'm going to talk about the Stipe situation. I'll probably talk a little bit about the the Gane and Jones fight itself. Tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to look up any videos of Jon Jones yet to see how big he looks, because I'm going to go through a deep dive, and I'm going to find the most intimidating and terrifying shots of him, so that I can make a video specifically about that, and then we could talk about that, because those always do really, really well. And yeah, man. Yeah. It's going to be good, dude. It's going to be good. And, you know, not to step on the whole thing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to wait just for a second. We'll let everybody get on. And then so in 6 minutes, we're going to talk specifically about why Stipe didn't get this fight. And wait, what? Kratom's like heroin? That's legit. That's legit. Anyway, so we'll get into all of that. Now, super quick, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe if you're going to watch my stuff. It's this is not like regular channels where they're like, "Hey, can you please subscribe if you like my stuff?" It's like, dude, if you're going to watch my stuff, subscribe. It costs nothing and it helps me immensely. That's the deal, and I appreciate you guys doing it, because I have the best community in the world. I have the best community on YouTube. That's a fact. That's a fact. If you get into my comment section and you just read people's takes, they're exceptional. They're exceptional. I cannot actually tell you how many times I get my video topics from people who send them to me, from my community, or from the comment section. In all honesty, it's probably like 80%. 80% of my video topics come from things that are either sent to me or put in the comments. 80%. I appreciate you guys very, very much. So, kratom is not an opioid, actually. It is a relative of the coffee plant that acts like an opioid, but a very, very mild one. Basically, when people ask me what it is, I'm like, so coffee is to yayo as kratom is to an oxy. It's basically, that's how it is. And also, the main thing about it that is, and I certainly am not recommending anybody take it. I'm just, if people take it, that's where you get it. But the main thing that's great about it is, like, if you take an oxy and you like it, guess what? If you take 2, you're gonna like it even more. And if you take 3, you're gonna like it even more. If you like kratom and then you double your dose, you're gonna throw up and feel sick. So it's really, you can't like, anyway, it's neither here nor there. So let's do this thing. I'm not going to wait a whole 5 minutes. All right. So basically, when I saw the Gane and Jon Jones fight announced, I didn't do the normal kind of mental processing that I would do, because like I saw that. And my initial take was, I was like, oh, okay, they're negotiating with Francis, right? Like, they're negotiating with Francis. That's what they're doing. So then Dana was like, Francis is released, we're releasing all hold over him. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. One thing that I completely forgot to talk about on the video yesterday that's really important. Speaking of which, I may or may not have new information. Well, nope, I do actually. Oh, dude. Let me see if my boy wants to come on. I'm gonna have Eric Nixick on later in the week. So Francis's coach is going to come on later in the week. And Markel is going to come on this week as well, I think. Let me see. Anyway, so we'll talk about that too. So yeah, I mean, look, like at the end of the day, when they released all hold over Francis, it's like, this is the thing. In the past, the UFC has sued people who try to break out of their contract, right? Like they sued him. Like they did that with Randy Couture. They did that with a bunch of other people. And I know for 100% sure that when Francis was in the middle of this thing, call it like a year ago or whatever, Randy, because Francis trains at Extreme Couture, right? So, and Randy told Francis that he was going to have to deal with a lawsuit from the UFC, that was going to be a part of the process. So when that was kind of hanging over their head, my opinion at the time, which I passed on to their team, which I will now say that I was almost certainly correct about, was I disagreed with that. I said, I don't think that that's right. I think that the reason that they're not going to sue is because as of this moment right now, they can threaten to sue. Like they can say like, oh, you're going to have to sue, right? But the reason why Francis is a free agent is because there is a hard and fast legal certain end date to his contract, which is the sunset clause. Okay. And so in the event that they did take him to court, right? They're like, nope, Francis still owes us whatever they said. Okay. He fought his contract out. He fought out the contract, and then he waited through the champ clause, and then his end date kicked in. So let's say that they were like, nope, and they took him to court. So they would lose, and they know that. And what happens if they lose is that there's legal certainty for all the fighters. And from that moment forward, fighters know that sunset clause is certainty. And so they go, I could just wait until that date and I'll be a free agent. And at that point, strategically, fighters and their managers will start strategizing around that. Where right now, the UFC says, we released Francis. We couldn't come to a deal, so we released him. It's like, that's smart PR, of course. That's exactly what I would say, of course. Yeah, we released him. We couldn't come to a deal. And, it's like word games, right? Like, you released him, but you didn't have a hold on him anymore. Like contractually, you didn't have any hold on him, so you didn't release him from anything. But you are basically saying you're releasing once you say publicly we're releasing any claim on him, technically that is kind of a release in and of itself. Even though contractually you didn't have a hold on him, saying you're releasing him from everything, that really is a release because they had implied that they would have to go. Chael talked about that a million times. Chael talked about that a million times. At a certain point, they were going to have to go to court. So the UFC saying that they're not going to do that, that is a release, even though they didn't technically have a contractual hold on him. But nonetheless, so that's why I think that they did that, is because if they did take him to court, then the sunset clause becomes something where strategically all the other fighters know that that's the end of the road and all they have to do is wait it out. So I'm going to just put this up because this is so obscenely incorrect. Okay, so Francis would rather fight tomato cans at PFL and make money instead of fighting the best in the world. So one thing that I did find out is that thing with his mom wearing the PFL shirt, complete and total fluke. Like that, there was no plan. That was not a plan. She just wore the PFL shirt. and then there was a picture of her. Like that was not, I'm not saying that he's not going to end up going to the PFL, but that was not an announcement. Francis is going to box. That's what he's doing. That's what this is about. This is about boxing. It's not about PFL. It's not about ONE FC. He's going to box. He's going to go box Tyson Fury. And he's going to make so much money. It is going to be obscene. I mean, if he gets the brakes beat off of him, he's still going to make $40 million. Okay? He's still going to make $40 million. Think about this, dude. So, and look, like, so Dana said that they made him an offer that would have made him higher paid than Brock Lesnar. I heard that's not true, but you know, I can't validate that for 100% sure, but the word on the street is that is inaccurate. That's not what the offer was. But nonetheless, I'm sure that Francis was giving a very, very lucrative offer. But let's say maximum, it was 10 million per fight, right? 10 million, which is what Brock was getting. So 10 million a fight. He has to win. So he fights. So let's say he's going to fight Jon Jones, right? He's going to make $10 million for that fight. If he loses, okay, his contract goes down to like $1 million or like 1.5 if he wins, right? Okay. So let's say he beats Jon Jones and then he has to fight Cyril again. Okay. He's going to make, and he's first of all, he's not going to make as much money as he did for the Jon Jones fight. So you got 10 for the Jon Jones fight. Let's say it was going to be 7 for the Cyril fight or whatever. That's 17 million, assuming that he wins both fights. And then let's say they pull a rabbit out of the hat and there's another huge fight that he's going to make $8 million. Like, do you see what I'm saying? If he loses any of them, if he loses a single one of these, he's going to be making significantly less money. And like, not just significantly, you're talking about like, he'll make 30 million for the Tyson fight on the low side. Guaranteed. He goes in, he gets the break speed off him, $30 million. You have any idea the gymnastics you have to do to get him to where he'll make $30 million in his UFC contract? Like there's like, why? Why would he do that? Why on earth? Why would he do it? You know? I didn't say Tyson's highest purse was $30 million. What are you talking about? Who are you talking to me? Are you talking to Big J MMA? Are you talking to me? I didn't say Tyson's highest purse was $30 million. I'm saying Francis will make $30 million on the low side if he fights Tyson Fury, is what I'm saying. And so, you know, you got the Tyson Fury fight, you got the Deontay Wilder fight. And you know what? I am going to platform my dude right now because I remember, after I put that up yesterday, Pat and Rose texted me this. He said he should fight Tyson Fury first because it's his first fight. Then he fights Wilder because he could potentially win that even if he loses the Tyson fight. Yeah. So basically he's just saying like that's their take. Pat and Rose are like, he should fight Tyson first because even if he loses that fight, you could still sell the Deontay Wilder fight because, you know, that fight sells either way. If he fights Deontay first and he loses, it's impossible to do the Tyson Fury fight. And that's a really good point, actually, because I was thinking about that in reverse when I'm like, okay, so if he does Deontay Wilder, if he wins, he could fight Tyson Fury. But I didn't really think about that. Like if he the only thing is like if he gets the brakes beat off him by Tyson Fury, like he just gets the brakes beat off him, then it's like it might be hard to sell Deontay, but I don't know. Either way, if I'm him, I mean, I'm just talking about just myself. If it was me, there's no way I would sign with the UFC if that's on the table. No, of course not. Why? You know what I mean? But here's the other side of this, right? The UFC didn't do any, like, the UFC can't match that offer. Do you know what I mean? Like the only way the UFC, if Francis had his heart set on boxing, which he did. Here's the other thing about that too. It's not just about the money. The thing I forgot about in the video, I'm pretty sure I didn't say this, is like his dream from the beginning was to be the heavyweight boxing champion, right? Now, for a lot of people, I'm sure that they would be like, well, now he's the, the champion of the UFC, and that's even cooler. It's like, yeah. But his vision when he went through all the shit that he went through to get over to Europe and then come to America and all that, his vision was to become the heavyweight boxing champion. And that matters. Like, that matters. And so it's really important to him that he gets to try to do that. So, God, can you imagine if he beat Tyson Fury? I mean, I'm serious. Like, I realize that I don't think many people can even kind of get there to where that's even plausible in a million years. And to me, it's a tough one for me too, obviously. But can you imagine if he did? Can you imagine if he actually pulled it off? Given his backstory, it would be the most incredible. It'd be the most incredible professional sports story in the history of professional sports, without anyone even remotely near that story. Not even close, dude. Not even close. Oh my God. Guys. If he's going to get seriously hurt. It's boxing, dude. He might get beat up and knocked out. He's not like, he's a UFC cage fighter. Like, there's no scenario where, like, yeah, you might get beat up and knocked out. There's no reason why he should be super concerned. He's like, oh gosh, like Tyson Fury might punch me in the face and knock me out. It's like, I mean, he's a UFC fighter. This has nothing to do with Dana doing anything wrong. It has nothing, like, this is the point I was making that I didn't finish. There's nothing UFC could have done in the event that he had his heart set on boxing. I mean, what's the UFC going to do? If they facilitate that, if they're like, okay, yeah, we'll do the boxing fight. I absolutely guarantee you that the UFC tried to put boxing into the contract, but they tried to put it in there in a way that would let them not actually do it. Where it would be like, okay, so we want you to fight Jon Jones, but then, and if you beat Jon Jones and then you beat blah, 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 then we'll do this. And then there'll probably be some clause somewhere that actually gave them an out, so they get them to sign, but then they don't actually have to do it, because that's what I would have done. But if he's got his heart set, like, I'm doing boxing next, and then I will come to there, they're not going to do that. They're just not going to do that. For the reasons I stated yesterday, which are, then they have to do it for everyone. How could they allow Francis to do it and then not allow Kamaru to do it against Canelo or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it just opens a whole floodgate of stuff that they don't want. And the reason why, so there really are two sides to this. Like, I realize that everybody really wants to be like, Francis is the hero, UFC's the enemy, and yes, Francis is killing it. And that is true if you are Francis and his team, okay? Like, if you're Francis and his team, they went to war with the UFC, and the UFC went to war with them. And there is just a plain and simple winner and loser at the end of this thing between those two parties, okay? But as observers on the outside, there's two ways of looking at the story, right? So on Francis's side, he felt that he had been taken advantage of, and if you look at kind of the history of how things went, there's certainly a reasonable argument for that. But he fought out his contract. He gambled every step of the way. He won. And now he is going to, reap the benefits of that, right? And I can tell you right now, they vanquished the UFC as far as they're concerned, once they successfully do this boxing thing, right? But who knows? Then maybe they come back to the UFC and do a Jon Jones fight. Who knows? Okay. But On the UFC side, here is the argument for the UFC side where they have a reasonable position to take, which is, how does anybody know who Francis Ngannou is? Okay, it's their platform that he used to become a star. It's all of the extra money that the UFC spends on all of these other things that allow people to become huge stars in the UFC. Like, you take UFC out of it, right? You take UFC's machine that they built out of it. How does Conor McGregor become a household name? How does Francis Ngannou become something that you could sell a Tyson Fury fight around when he has 0 professional boxing matches? Okay. Like, the UFC has the infrastructure and the machine that people are able to leverage to become big stars. So, there's no way to take that and then just paint the UFC as the villain when they're like, all right, here, we want to make you a very lucrative offer that still kind of fits within the confines of our business model. We can't pay you $30 million. We can't do it. Like, we literally cannot do it. We'll show you the books. Here's what that's one of the things that I always heard them talk about with when they were talking about Jon Jones. It's like, they're all, dude, we will open the books for Jon and show him the finances and just go, where are we coming up with this money, dude? This is what we bring in. Where are we coming up with this money? And so, because you're not just negotiating with Francis, you're setting precedent for what you have to pay all these other guys, right? And so, like, there's only so much you can do if you're the UFC, right? They have the most money coming in, but they're the only profitable MMA organization aside from ONE FC, right? Like, good luck building a new MMA organization. So, they're like, obviously Francis is not only not doing anything wrong, he played his leverage position and he won. He won. But just because there's a conflict to be resolved doesn't mean that there's like a villain and a good guy. Now, I will say this, the UFC could certainly stand to pay fighters a lot more, and they certainly could give them a stipend for healthcare and all that stuff. But the way that's going to actually happen is in the event that things like this happen and people see that there are ways to make more money outside of the UFC. That's how this happens. That is how they get paid more. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it is what it is. Now, Stipe. So how did Stipe not get this fight? Right? It's like I realize Stipe's 40. Okay. But Stipe is the single greatest heavyweight champion of all time. Like, and it's not really close. Let me actually pull this up. Because the thing is, Stipe beat Francis. And you know what I mean? It's like, because the only thing they could really say is they could be like, yeah, well, if it's because obviously Jon Jones is going to be fighting for it and deserves it. The only thing they could say about Gane is they're like, well, Gane won 2 out of 5 rounds against Francis in January, and Francis kind of just wrestled him down. So like, Gane is the better, the bigger whatever. It's like, Gane has never won. He won an interim title over Derek Lewis, who hasn't won a fight since then. Okay. Francis or Stipe beat Francis, beat the shit out of him, right? Beat the shit out of Francis the first time. And then he came back and then they fought again and Francis starched Stipe. But that's they've split. And Stipe, this is not comparable records here, dude. So 2015, Stipe, he knocks out Mark Hunt. He fights January 16. He fights Andrei Arlovsky, knocks him out in the first round. May in 2016, he fights Fabricio Verdum for the title. He knocks him out in the first. I saw that. I was at the Monterey Bay Aquarium when that happened. Watching on my phone at this event, this like Kaiser Permanente event. He fights Alistair Overeem, September 10th, 2016, knocks him out in the first round with an uppercut decapitation. Right? Then he fights Junior Dos Santos in May of 2017, knocks him out in the first round. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 first round knockouts in a row. Then he fights Francis Ngannou, who at the time, everyone thought Stipe had no chance, right? He's knocked out 5 heavyweights in a row, 4 of which in the first round, and he's won the title and defended it twice. And against Francis, he's a huge underdog because Francis is just running through everyone. He fights an absolutely brilliant fight, and he beats the brakes off Francis. Then he fights Daniel Cormier 6 months later, and he gets hit with a shot he didn't see coming, after taking a lot of punishment in that Francis fight, and gets knocked out. Then he fights DC twice again, and he knocks out DC in the first, in the rematch, and then he beats the shit out of him in the second one. And then he fights Francis in the last fight. Like, dude, his pedigree, you can't argue with it. You can't argue with it. In terms of, and I'm just talking about like in terms of like a UFC champion, no one has won more heavyweight title fights than him. And that it's not close. It's not close. So in my opinion, it should have been Stipe against Jon Jones. They should have had Cyril Gane fight against Curtis Blades, and the winner of that gets the next title shot. That's what it should have been, in my opinion. But, look, here's the other side of that conversation. Because Stipe's had so many heavyweight title fights, they know what his value is. And it's not very much in terms of the promotional side. Stipe hates that stuff. He hates it, The guy's an incredibly gifted fighter. He's obviously a good man. He's a firefighter. He does a lot of stuff, but like personality-wise, some people are good at some things and not good at others. It's like you could sit me in front of a camera and just ask me any topic, and I'll at least feel very confident talking about it on camera. There are other people you stick them in front of a camera and you're like, here's the biggest layup ever. And you can just see they just get riddled with anxiety and they start like he's just one of those guys. Like he's not built to be on camera talking. He doesn't like it. He's not good at it. He's not good at promoting fights. He is an exceptional fighter. He's an exceptional fighter. He is one of the worst well-known guys at promoting fights. It just is what it is. It's not an insult. It's just a fact. Some people are amazing at promoting fights and they're not good fighters. Some people are incredible fighters. They suck balls at promoting. He's one of those guys. And it's too bad because he's so good and he sucks so bad. You know what I mean? And I've heard that he has some kind of conflict with one of the big boys. Like the big boys are Dana, Shelby, Hunter, and Mick Maynard. And I can't remember which one of them, but one of them like really does not like Stipe, I've heard. But yeah. Wait a second. Wait. Oh, hang on. Guru versus Harrington. I don't know who Harrington is, but if you elaborate, then I will answer. Thank you for the super chat. How is this a lie? The fuck are you talking about? I was on fan questions twice. And then so I started sending them in all the time. And so I would watch them back and I was like, fucking A, dude, I'm exceptional at this. And then TikTok came out and I looked, I was like, dude, I'm doing these 1-minute questions. Why don't I just post them on TikTok? And so I started doing that on TikTok instead of sending them into fan questions, and my TikTok blew up. And then I went over to YouTube and then I blew up on YouTube. It is a 100% direct reflection or result of Chael putting me on fan questions. 100%. What the fuck are you talking? Oh my God. Hey, yeah. Hey guys, we got a fucking genius in here. He says his stupid shit. He's like, oh, you had your channel way before Chael did fan questions. Dude, what they're talking about is this channel, when they put the date on it, hey, go find a Jesse on Fire video before April 2020. Go ahead. I'll give you $700,000 if you find something that says Jesse on Fire before April 2020. I had done a total of like maybe, I don't know, Like I did like 3 videos about MMA like in 2017, and I was doing them under my own name. Then I didn't do any at all for like three years or something like that. And then I started Jesse on Fire in January 2020 on TikTok. And then I moved over to here. I probably should have just started a new channel. This channel, it says it's 14 years old. Like, it says it's 14 years old. Fucking retard. You're banned, actually. Hey, guys, look it. Banned. Nah, I'm just kidding. But everybody tell the Clipper he's a fucking idiot. Go ahead. Go ahead. Tell him he's a fucking idiot. Anyway. But yeah, so that's what it is. Come on in, dude. You guys feel free to fucking call me out on shit and then see what happens. Dick riding fucking pussy. Thank you very much, sir. Ashton, thank you very much, dude. I train at Strong Style MMA where Stipe does. He hasn't been in the gym in over a month. Really? That is an interesting thing. So he's like, so you're saying he like you wouldn't be ready anyway. Well, that matters, obviously. Much appreciated, sir. Thank you for the super chat. Jagoff, thank you. I can always count on you, Jesse, when it comes to your channel and content. You are the best. Thank you very much, sir. And I love reading MMA Jagoff. Oh God. Okay, I didn't realize. Okay, so he's an idiot. Look, wow, got super mad all because I call out these truth. Wow. No. I get salty when people are so fucking stupid, dude. Like they come in super confident. They're all, dude, a dictionary is not this many pages. You're like, why? You're telling me what's like, seriously, you're like, hey, your dad's middle name is not blah, blah, blah. Like, how the fuck would you know what my dad's middle name? How the fuck would you know anything about my channel? Because you went and looked and saw that my channel was technically started like in 2006 or something. You want to know what that was? That's when I made the email address that it's associated with, you fucking moron. Jesus. Time out for you. Take 5 minutes and think about being so stupid. Anyway. Time out, dude. No bans, dude. He just says time out. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Oh, here we go. Oh, God, man. These guys want it today, dude. Yes. Hey, why'd you team up with Brendan Schaub and ruin your career? Man, yeah, it's really turned out terrible for me. You know, I went on, you know, I got to do a Fight Companion twice with Frank Mir and Sam Tripoli and Brendan. And, you know, I met their team. I won Content Creator of the Year on Schaub's channel. My fucking subscriber base has gone up 40,000 since then. I mean, God, man. Good point, dude. You want to be my manager, dude? You want to be my manager? Because your skills in assessing my career are top notch, dude. Genius. Amazing, dude. Wait, hang on. Okay, so UFC to release Francis because they were stripping his title. No champ clause if you're not the champion. No. So the reason why they hadn't stripped him until December is because the champ clause is the only thing that was keeping him under contract. So the champ clause, he actually still would have had, I think it's actually, I'm pretty sure, I don't know this for 100% sure. I think it's 18 months from his last fight. So that would have been another like 5 months from now. Or 6 months from now. But he had a sunset clause in December, you know, like a month ago or whatever. And so they couldn't strip him until then. But now, if they can't get him to sign, they're like, we got to move on, whatever. He wouldn't sign. So they're like, yeah, we're releasing him and, you know, whatever. I mean, because if he won't sign, they need a champion, you know. But yeah, because his contract was up regardless. Man, I wish the timeout was like, I wish the timeout was like 2 minutes. Like I want him to come back now. 5 minutes might be a little bit too long. I don't even know what's baked Alaska. Dude, I love Guru, man. Guru is fucking funny, man. Guru might be one of the fucking most undercover funny guys I've ever like. Because dude, I was like when we were doing the whatever the fuck the stream. Like yeah, I like laughed, like I was like, oh, that's good. When I watched it back, I laughed my ass off. My wife thinks he's fucking hilarious too, dude. Speaking of which, I have something I got to send him because this is a great. He loves Fizaev. And I got a funny ass story about him, dude. So Fizaev is hang on, I'm gonna send this to him real quick. So Fizaev, look at this, dude. Look at this. Okay, so the Phuket top team. So this is like that Thailand team. Fizaev owes 3 months of rent for over 3 years to the Thai house owner. He's written him saying that he would pay multiple times, but he never has. Doesn't dispute owing the rent, just doesn't want to pay. They just put him on blast, dude. And they were like, hey, Gaethje, beat him up. Which is funny, dude. Mort Death Menace, thank you for the $2, good sir. Trevor Wessel, thank you very much. Send me those 285 ticks, Dennis. Dude, we're gonna do that drawing either. As a matter of fact, he's supposed to call me today, but we will know who's getting those this week. We might just do cash value, just so that like if the person wants to go to that show, or if they want to, if there's a show coming up that's like in their backyard, they can buy those. But yeah, dude. Wait, hang on. Guru's a judgmental piece of chewed up bubblegum. Listen, man. I'm just gonna explain. I'm gonna explain something to you guys. If you are coming into a YouTube MMA channel and you don't have a pedigree in MMA that people know about, you don't have a lot of options to become relevant. Okay. One of the ways that you can is if you piss off the right people and then they come at you and they shine a light on your channel. Dude, like he's done a better job of that. If you think that like he's like tripping over his dick and accidentally having these guys fucking make response videos at him, he's literally like, oh, Dan Hardy, aren't you mad? And then Dan Hardy does a fucking hour and a half response to him. You think someone can win that argument? The entire point is getting the guy to do it. Anyway, but Trevor, we'll know on the tickets this week. More, thank you very much. Guru stream was good. Any more? Yeah, we're gonna do another one. We just want let like a couple weeks go by so that we can have some new fresh topics. Huh? I said if you don't have a public profile in mixed martial arts, is what I said. And yes, I will do a mentorship program. Make me an offer. Make me an offer. You guys know my wait. I'm not going to read that out loud. That's funny. Yeah, email me. I'll mentor the shit out of people. Okay, hang on. There was some other Thick Boy says Dana White's banking on Jon Jones and Francis Ngannou is banking on himself. That's true, dude. That's a fact. Dana really, MMA Marks, have fun, dude. Thank you very much. Dana really, really, really is hoping that Jon Jones wins and Francis gets his ass kicked. Like, that's their absolute best case scenario. I know I talked about that in the stream yesterday, but I will just reiterate. If Francis gets his fucking face beaten by Tyson, and then Jon Jones beats Gane, then the UFC has a legit champion. They'll be like, see, dude, Jon Jones was going to beat the shit out of Francis anyway. He's going to beat the shit out of Francis anyway. And, but that's their only real play, you know, because like if Jon loses, dude, there's no, I mean, even if Jon wins, there's still no way to say that anybody other than Francis is the heavyweight champion. But if Jon wins, Francis by some miracle wins the boxing match, there's really no way to say shit. Because all that really matters, it's all like public perception anyway, you know. Clipper, you first, dude. How old are you? Send me your Instagram so you can prove it. Dude, this is not, I mean, listen, as a fan of mixed martial arts, of course, I want Jon Jones to win because it's a great story. Jon Jones is a big brand, and him at heavyweight will be really exciting. But that said, Cyril Gane is not an easy matchup for anyone. Certainly not Jon Jones either. You know, like if you were like, seriously, like think about like the only person he's lost to was he lost to Francis, and people are like, oh, Francis can take him down. That just means he sucks at wrestling. Well, Francis got taken down over and over against Stipe and then did nothing but train his wrestling since then. That's the thing I don't think people understand. They're like, oh, well, he sucked at wrestling here. Like, I realize there are a lot of UFC fighters where if they get one weakness exposed, they seem to not be able to shore up that weakness. That's not the case with everyone. Like, that's just not the case with everyone, you know? Like, GSP used to have a wrestling weakness, and then he became one of the most dominant wrestlers in the history of the sport, okay? Like, not everybody is Darren Till, right? Where they've got one way that they fight, and then somewhere along the line, people figure out that they can take him down at will, and he just like can't seem to figure that out. You know, Eric, I can't remember what like exactly when this was, but Eric came on the channel and he told me specifically that Francis is a monster on the ground now. He's like, dude, and he said something. He's like, I know no one's going to believe it until they actually see it. So there's no point in me even talking about it. He's like, but trust me, he's a monster, dude. He's a monster. So we'll see, dude. You guys who have seen, Jones on Triple C's channel, like, does he look huge or what? I will put that up just because that's funny. Is Jones going to be tested? Of course. He's not going to be on anything that he's going to pop dirty for, though. Here's the thing. Like, there's just no one pops dirty anymore. Just like no one pops dirty. No one. Like, no one pops dirty anymore. There's no juice in MMA anymore. Seems really bizarre to me. Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe they are taking things that are not detectable. You know what I mean? I do jiu-jitsu now. I do jiu-jitsu tournaments, and I used to fight kickboxing. Muay Thai kickboxing. I have a tournament in 13 days. And I'm already on weight, son. Kind of. I have to cut 3 pounds, but that's nothing. Like I'm basically on weight right now, which was not the case at my last tournament. I had to cut 10 pounds in like, I don't know, what, like 4 or 5 days. But it's not like cutting weight for MMA, dude. Cause like MMA, you cut weight, you weigh in on whatever Thursday, and then you go rehydrate and you fight like in 36 hours. Like I weigh in fucking 10 minutes before I'm on the mat, dude. So it's like you can't just like cut weight. Like you can't just go like run and fucking dehydrate the shit out of yourself, because you literally step on the scale, they check you in, and then it's like you see, it's like, all right, you're fighting on mat 5 in fucking 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So anyway, my fucking brain hurts, man. All right, I'm out of here. I love you guys. Peace.